OBI, get these things straight.
Okay. So first of all, ladies, I do appreciate your assistance yet again. This is video 2 of the practicum observation. This time we're going to focus. This is a focus group meeting. So welcome in, and I thank you for your time. So I'm going to ask you just to introduce yourselves briefly, right? So we'll start with Ms. Allie.
I'm Christy Alley. I teach resource English 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
I'm Naisha Davis. I am the 6th, 7th, 8th grade instruction coach.
Mm-hmm.
I am Berlin T. Galantine, and I teach college and career readiness.
Okay, and I am too, put my little self in here, I am Taronda Johnson, and I am the intern program person in Prairie View A&M University. Sorry, I don't have the name here right in front of me. But today our main focus is coming up with one plan, one strategy that we will implement in the classrooms to help the students show growth. We're trying to close the gap. So we're going to discuss the importance of closing learning gaps. And you have information that we're going to start with and using. Then we're going to use the 7th grade writing rubric, SOAR writing rubric, and then we're going to view those different strategies that I've come up with, and you're welcome to share your own. And we're going to come up with one target that we want to use and implement, and come up with also a strategy, activity that we can use, and it be constant routine and built in over the several weeks, so that we could see the details and the data and how well it's being played out. So we're going to start with the norms. You know, we say we're going to listen attentively. We decided to be respectful and supportive of other views of each other, and then be respectful of invite and honor others' perspectives. You know, just because I think differently from you guys doesn't mean that I'm right or you're wrong. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. We're going to go with using our data. Not our data, our rubric. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to go over the rubric. And in doing so, we're going to, I'll just discuss the success criteria. We're choosing again one target area, and then we're reviewing the rubric as we're doing now, and then we're going to come up with a plan. So give about a minute or two, set the clock for a minute, and if we need additional time, that's fine too. Okay, less than 5 seconds here. Okay, so what are some of the areas here? So the purpose of us looking at this rubric, basically, we want to have our students reach to the next level, right? We want to get them to get close to 5 points on their written responses as close as possible. So what are some of the areas you see just from them scoring, being able to get close to 3 points in the 3 section?
For me, I would say the thesis statement.
Yes, I agree.
priority. Because if you have a strong thesis, then hopefully you should be able to build on it for the rest of your
Right.
Okay. So I do agree with that, but what about the evidence?
I think evidence is one of the weaker areas on campus. From the essays I've read, even if they use evidence, it's often not relevant to the answer or the question.
Okay. So, me personally, is the reason behind it, or being able to explain. I mean, each of these areas are important,
Yes.
but what if we could say is that one area for the three that we would like to focus on and see growth?
I do think explaining, because that helps connect the student to the text, which is a big weakness I see on the multiple choice questions and the ECRs,
Right.
is that self-to-text connection.
Right, and that's relative to comprehension as well.
Correct.
So
So-
if we're saying that one, then you have, I don't know. Because other than that, I would say relevant evidence.
Okay,
So I guess if we want a consensus,
Mhm.
I don't see why reasoning would be important because they do have other parts other than writing that they could support.
Okay, so, I don't have a pen. Okay, so so our targeted area, as in the consensus, is with that we agree and we're gonna work on reasoning, okay? So. All right. Okay, so, let's go down to number 2. Well, basically, it's just worded differently, that's it, the expectation goal. Okay, gotcha. So, in that, let's come up with some different strategies. So if you look at the writing stations that we discussed doing, and I've taken the liberty of doing little activities, little ideas, and maybe we should see what we can use, or we could come up with something that you've thought about, or take something that I've written and you can expound on.
Well, what I do sometimes in my classroom is we do writing warm-ups where they're posed with a question or a writing prompt and they have to answer it and they have 15 minutes to write and they must write for all 15 minutes. So that they have to develop a real answer, not just yes or no or something. They have to explain it and, come up with a reason why they believe that answer. Even though I'm not asking for evidence, it's all just opinion.
Mhm.
But at least it helps them start connecting
The why.
the why.
Why. Which, many lessons I did. So, if we look at the back of this, that was my personal favorite. Since I've always, just talking to different other teachers, they were saying that the explaining and the reasoning was one of the problematic areas, especially the 7th graders graded on that level. So, also I do agree with the transition as well, but, we still can implement each station, but what we're targeting is just the why. So that will be the elaboration boot camp. Yes, so we will have to have them practicing the why as they're reading to get the comprehension going, right? In order for them to respond to the question that's being asked, we need to always ask them why they're doing what they're doing, how are they doing it, right? And then have them, what does this show? What is it telling you? So that's part of what the art's purpose is.
Right.
So I really think that those 3 things alone could be implemented in the reading. So just answer these 3 questions, within each story, and then it's basically part of the summary, right?
Well, and I think that supports like evidence and elaboration.
Right.
So you're really
killing two birds with
Yeah.
one stone. Yeah,
You're still teaching the reading and the comprehension and everything, but you're also bringing it into why.
right,
So like even your exit tickets could kind of target, it could be almost like a short SCR where you're like, here's a question about what we read, tell me what you think about this and why.
right. Okay, so maybe that's something that we could do, and then we can have the data on it.
Mhm.
Right,
Right,
cause
so-
it's easy to track like using your exit tickets.
Okay, so we're choosing this, and then exit tickets would be our go-to strategy.
Cause even as we're reading passages in class, and even with Star Blitz that we're about to embark into, there's gonna be passages that we can be like, okay, here's a quick question, I want you to go in to exit ticket, type out your answer, I want to know what your answer is, how you backed it up, and why, because of those three, bam, bam, bam.
Okay, okay, so, let's see what else we have in dealing with. So, we've gone over the implement, the strategies we wanna implement. So, chunking, we talked about that as well. So, how would it be, I'm not sure if I have that paper. Of chunking.
Chunking ideas?
Yeah, chunking ideas. So how would we keep them engaged? This is basically chunking the, actual, essay part.
Well, keeping them engaged, it is chunking, because they don't have to write all of it at one time. So short spurts,
Right,
right, is good for them.
okay. And my preference, which Ms. Davis should know, that I had my students writing on paper, on the eye charts, right? And they did it, with pencil colors. They despised it and still remember it to this day, but they understood if you don't have this color, then you didn't
You
do
missed
it right.
something, I like that idea.
Yes, and I told them, if your paper does not look like a Christmas tree, a set of lights of the sort, then you're not doing it correctly.
Mhm.
And that's for each paragraph. So maybe we could use, have them, we decided exit tickets, so I don't see how that would, but we can kind of mix it up, right?
But we
Yeah.
can, because even though we're targeting the explanation part, the entire essay still has to be written. That is the weakest part, but we still have to teach
Right,
the entire essay, because we don't want them to get to the final essay and then they end up just writing a quick SCR. We need it to be like well developed, so.
okay. So, another thing I was thinking about is feedback. Of course, I'm not in the core area of PLA, but, I mean, how does that look in the class?
I always like conferences, like, you know, understanding that everybody is gonna be at a different place in their writing. But I'm also a part of that, so if you've gotten through your eye chart, you need to come see me, right? And we sit and we talk through it. And it may not be me, you know, going through the eye chart, giving you 10 things to work on, right? You wanna take it in small bites. Right now, your thesis is not right, so let's focus on you getting your thesis right. Then we can move on to the other parts. Your thesis is right, but you don't have relevant evidence. I need you to go and vote, you know? So having those quick 2 to 3 minute conversations with them, you're conferencing with them about their writing.
Okay,
And then I also take, we use a lot of paper and pencil in my class, so when I take their final essay, I correct it, I leave feedback. I write my own, not really a paragraph, I write a couple sentences about what they did right, that I'm, you know, what I saw that I really liked and where they needed to maybe add some details or find some evidence or something like that. So even with their final draft, I give it back to them with some written feedback on it too.
okay, so they are getting into the revising, editing with their, essays, within their essay, okay.
To me, the revise and edit is on the eye chart. Like, once the eye chart
Right.
is perfect or almost, then you can go and type it.
Right.
Yes.
That's was the process, or that's the idea that we were going for. And even when I was in that area of teaching at that time. So my part of it is in chunks when we are having them do a connect. How do you relate to the story? Then you identify the summary of it, which is why, how, the five W's in an H, and also the claim, the reasoning, all of those things are separate. But we also came up with, it's still in box of blocks, but you're writing it out, or you're typing it, either or, whatever fits with their preference. But it's like they're still trying. It's I feel like on Think Circle, it's guiding them and giving them sentence stems, but it's also me personally just like paper, so that they could understand it. Most of them do ask for it in paper so that they could make a better connection rather than just copying and pasting. And then also with Think Circle, which is a very good thing, this AI that they're using now is really flagging them, and then it's forcing them to do it on their own. And especially when you have a teacher that's getting them, hey, this is not you. You need to take care of your business, right? So that is a really helpful tool in chunking as well. So let's see, what else could we discuss? So in this, I think this is it here that we have as far as the demographics and all of that. Other thing that we need to talk about. What else did I have? So in what would be the end goal? What would be a percentage, or what are we looking for? Because in the next one, we're gonna have to keep track of what's going on, see if this exit ticket, this particular mini lesson is actually functioning. And then if it's not, then we're gonna have to come up with something different.
So we want a percentage?
Either, what would be the goal? You know,
How many weeks are we practicing before we need a number?
okay, so we said, after spring break,
Right.
so it's gonna at least be like 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe,
So,
if,
remember for 7th and 8th grade, we only see them twice a week, so that's only gonna be, if it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's only 4 to 6 times. So the
okay,
data's gonna be, it's gonna be a very small amount of data.
Sixth grade would be different, cause they see their kids every day.
okay, well, maybe we could shoot for them. Well, I mean, it's ELA as a whole.
Everybody can use this, yeah, cause I'll probably use it with my 8th graders too, because like.
Yeah,
they
we're
all can
implementing
use it.
this as well. 'Cause-
But if it's only 2 to 3 weeks, I would say maybe like a 2% or 3% growth, because that's a really short timeline.
Right,
And even that may be stretching.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, it may be like any growth at this point is at least showing that progress is being
right,
made.
at least.
Some growth.
Yes, if they continue to answer the questions correctly,
Right,
the why,
yeah.
you know, and apply it,
Yes.
then that's growth, you know,
Correct,
how we
correct.
see it. So, yeah, that's definitely, something else, but yeah, well, within this time, I really think this is a good opportunity. When will they take start?
And mid-April, like the
We'll
14th or
have like, what,
16th,
6 weeks after spring break or something like
I
that?
think so.
Okay, well, I'm not exactly sure when the next one is.
Yeah,
But within that time, you know, we
Progress
should have some
Yes.
sort of, but basically, it's just, is it working? That's pretty much what, not necessarily a number or, but are they understanding?
Are you noticing a difference?
Right,
Yes.
but before we did it
Conversations.
and after we
Yeah.
did it, like, we can compare, cause we can pull all their SERs and ECRs off of Eduforia, so we'll have before proof and we'll have after, so we can see, are they getting it, are they taking it, and are they using it, because we can teach it all day, but if they don't use it,
Right.
that's, then we know, okay, maybe this wasn't the best way, or,
Okay, well, let's go back to a little data, just to give us some idea from, milestone. What was
Okay.
it, one? Which one, let me see if I can pull it up. My drive wasn't working
been wonky
Yes,
today.
yes.
Right?
I'm like, what is really going on? It was not functioning, and it looks like it's still the same. Oh boy. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is this. Let me just open it this way. This is fresh. Okay, recent. Okay, here it is. I had to use my dome right quick. Alright, we'll just take it bit by bit. So, you do have this, in your thing, but we're just gonna go through. So, our focus in which area, all areas, but we are hopefully wanna target those approaches so that they could go over into the meats and the writing parts of it. So it's pretty high, it's 82.54% from when you took it in September. And I think, you have a roundabout figure from the milestone too? What it was?
I think it went up.
And they all went up.
Yeah, ELA was,
Drastically.
yeah, ELA
Okay.
made huge
Yeah,
leaps.
drastically.
We did a really, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking,
Like,
they blew it out of the water, I'll say that.
They did a really good job.
Okay.
Exact numbers I can get to you if
Okay.
we wanna,
Well, and so it's more, less than that in approaches. They did go to meets.
they went, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so with that, then we could, when you do give me the numbers, and then we could, we can just go from there
Uh-huh.
within the,
Yeah,
from
let
that
me,
project.
let me get you the data. I'll get it to you. I can get it to you tomorrow, and then that way you can look at it and analyze it, and we can be ready to discuss it.
Okay, I mean, it's just for pretty much at this point, our purpose.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so,
I mean, that way we'll have good data from the latest test.
right,
Moving forward.
right,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So, yeah, we are, then, that's a great sign in itself, right? With them, showing growth. So, let's talk about other things that we probably could look at. Basically, we're so we decided executing the strategies. Okay. So let's see what it is that we can do, possibly come up with ideas on how it's going to look. So we did agree with exit tickets. So, we're having the teachers check it, right? So I forget how exit ticket, there's no grading unless they put it on there, right?
I mean, you can do an exit ticket in many different ways, right? You can have them write it, or you can write part of it and let them finish it, to see if they recognize, you know. You can do it.
What, multiple choice?
You can do multiple choice for an
Okay.
exit ticket.
Right, for an exit ticket. I'm just trying to, so it won't be asking them to do
To do so much.
so much
Extra?
stuff, yeah, so,
Uh-huh.
I think with writing, unfortunately, it is one of those things that it's gonna take extra work, cause
I don't know if we're gonna have like a rubric. I don't know if Ms. Olmsted can make us a rubric for the SCRs, or if we just
Well,
want to,
You would use the same rubric that we always use, right? The 0, 1,
yeah,
2. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
okay.
But are we asking them to do this every day? Or once
Well-
a week, twice a week?
That's the thing, the purpose is to see if they would, or get it, can't talk, catching on and actually understanding this is something that is needed in order for you to get it, and it has to be consistent and routine. And then also, the teachers would really have to implement it. So,
Right.
I mean, you think we need to?
It needs to be a non-negotiable.
Right.
So they need to be right, which,
I mean, we do, well, I do anyway, but I think for the most part, we do write quite a bit, like,
Yes.
we do. It would just be morphing it slightly into doing like, this is your writing, rather than like, okay, today we're doing an SCR, today we're doing an ECR, today we're writing a thesis, you know. You tackle different things, but I think if we're consistently working on this, then, you know, you can make it your warm-up, do like a quick mini lesson, remember this is how we're doing it, this is how we expand, this is how we do this, and then you have 10 minutes, you know, to write your response. Cause we're not asking them to write a whole essay.
right,
Right.
so
We're
it could be a
asking-
warm-up or an exit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got one more for it. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe.
However it fits
How it
best.
fits,
Yeah, teacher's discretion, I just need the data.
You just need the data,
Yeah.
right, so as long as it happens at some way, like if you wanna even do it as your brain break, like have,
Yeah.
you know, your first part, you know, we're teaching, and then like do a brain break, here's this.
Or
Quick
your early
activity.
finisher.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and then now we're gonna go back to our second, you know, assignment of the day or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe we give it like a cool name and say, hey, did you do your,
Call it like writing racer.
Yeah.
did you do your racer or
Well, it says
something?
elaboration boot camp. Well, that sounds like we.
That
for it,
sounds-
yeah. Yeah, no, let's not even
name. Because one way we probably could get, because we got to get the buy-in from the kids too, maybe
Right.
incentivize it. Give it a
Okay.
name, incentivize it and say,
Maybe
hey,
like the person who scores the highest gets a Jolly Rancher today.
yeah, no, if you
Every
have all
day.
of these parts,
Mm-hmm.
you get this.
Yeah.
Incentivize it.
Spend my little money.
Or,
That's why I said Jolly Ranchers, cause they come
Yeah.
out big old
Yeah.
bags.
Okay.
Or whatever motivates your kids. I mean, like for my kids, it's always food, so they're gonna like the Jolly Ranchers. But it could be like a sticker. It could be bonus points on a low grading assignment. Be like, hey, the people
or
who
quick
get
restroom pass, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
or 10 minutes, put your head down. 5 minutes, put your head down. You know, it could be whatever
Something to
motivates.
encourage them to do this.
Right.
Every time you see this name, I need to see all these parts.
Right.
Yes.
You get all these parts,
This is your
there you
reward.
go.
Okay, so what would be a cool name? I'm all out of ideas, Lord.
Okay, what is it called initially? It's called.
There's an elaboration.
Um,
That definitely wouldn't work.
Did you do your no cap station?
No, Kel.
Well, I'm thinking of things that they like to say, you know,
Yeah, right.
things that they are
Yeah.
into.
A crash out on this.
Did you do your crash out?
Yeah.
Crash out, you know,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
That's it. Crash out, cause they elaborated.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Look at me.
Yeah.
What a day, we coming up with it. I'll say crash out, camp, or just crash
Just
out.
crash out.
Just
Did
crash
you do your
out.
crash out?
You need to crash out today.
Crash out. Alright.
Crash out. Crash out with incentive.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Small incentive, whatever it is. Because like not every kid wants candy. Some kids will want like a 5-minute break or, you know,
Those with
whatever.
the weak bladders may need that extra restroom break.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a tangible reward necessarily, but something.
Yeah.
You know, and some kids are motivated by just having their name written on the board as like, this is the top performer of the day. So, I mean,
It's gonna vary from kid to kid,
Yeah.
but they know they're kids.
yeah, the teachers know what motivates these kids.
Okay. So we got our name, we have warm-ups, or exit tickets, or brain breaks, things of that nature. Possibly, that would be more on my end to try and come up with, you see, I don't know the stories, I was thinking about doing Cahoots, but that's not that at all.
What about Miss Olmsted said, and I just remember that there was a program they're using at the high school called Short Answers Only or something like that. I need to ask her again. But it's an online thing,
and they answer a prompt online, and then they start voting on who answered it best, and it becomes like a whole like battleground in the
I don't
classroom.
think we had it though.
She said we did. I think she did. She said at some point, I need to look, I haven't actually looked into it, but she had mentioned it at one of the plannings with the 8th grade team, that the high school was using it and a lot of the kids were enjoying that. So that's some way that they could also do it too.
Okay.
if they wanted to make it like a game, so to speak, where there's more like stakes in it, for those that are like motivated to like win or to be the best writer or whatever.
Yeah.
Cause she had us try it during one of the sessions that we had.
Okay, so the instructional learning, maybe we could, give a little tidbit to the teachers when, as we are having them to implement. So, have them to develop an idea, which is option one. Where is our, so we could say, I can clearly state my controlling idea or thesis area, when we talk about that, but we're focusing on, this is the instructional. Do y'all have it? You should. You don't have it? Okay, we'll start next to you. I don't know how I mixed all these papers up. Here you go. Sorry, Miss Allen. Okay.
So we're focusing on, I can develop my ideas with text evidence, examples, and reasons.
Yes.
Okay. But mostly the reasons.
Yes. That's what we're
Targeting.
targeting that one right there. So I can develop my ideas in text evidence, examples, and reasons, and
I can explain how my evidence supports the
Yeah.
main idea.
yeah, so these two is pretty much still covering everything that we just discussed, right?
Yep.
So, in that, we say for instructional focuses, teachers, which I'm sure if they do, they can model. And they get up and show differences between, that's what I forgot to get. Let's go through this, hopefully the internet will let us see it. So, when we were, what y'all think about this? Having students look at old, responses, written responses, and have them choose, like rate the, rate the essay and the responses. And then have them as a group identify our target areas, right? How they explain the reasons, and then they write in their understanding,
How they would.
how they would do it, or just,
respond to it.
yeah.
I like
Yeah, okay, so we're going to, that was my intent to have these printed so that, and then I could also use these and give it to the teachers and have them go through each one. So that they could see with this, cause they love to argue with this person didn't do it right, and this person only one sentence, and this, so on and so forth with that. So yeah, that was an option that I thought about. And, basically, so I'm sure they have gone over the rubric early, so they don't know which one is what. So, well, let me see. I'm also seeing organization, most of my students is flagging coherence. It's like it's not, it's not flowing like it should.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's something that, we could have them use and look inside of these things. We could use this particular instructional learning criteria, but we still stay on focus on what we wanna see, but then this is still helping.
Yeah.
And get them to understand, okay, well, this is something
What the
that,
system's looking for when
Right.
it's creating their essay.
right. So,
Transition.
yeah, yes. And know I love acre charts. Still do. So I give my students a list, and it's dealing with time, it's dealing with different, sequence and,
In addition.
yeah. And it was one student today I got on him because in the little organizer we have, and I saw his essay, and I said, go ahead and get that organizer. I said, so go through the organizer in the instructions and tell me what you didn't do right and what it said not to do on here. I said, I would like for you to find your own mistake. And so, guess what he did? I say, English teachers scream when they see this. And his response, what did he say? 2 words.
2 words.
It's 2 words that will make us scream. When we're asking you a question,
Don't know.
that's the famous
No,
one.
don't know.
But if he actually tried to do the essay, any of them, I think, yes. And that was what he did, and I told him, I said, you didn't write this story. We're not asking opinions, we're asking you to answer the question, we're not asking you a yes or no question. So that's when that's something that needs to be understood with the words of what's going on. Okay. So pretty much, ladies, we've covered it. I mean, we've gotten to our consensus of what it is that we need to come up with. We decided to name the mini lesson Crash Out, right? And we decided that we can ask the teachers to implement it in a warm-up or either a brain break or have it for early finishers, have it for exit tickets, right? And then we have small incentives that we want to give to them. We can give teachers options to use color coding, to chunk it, right? And then, and introduce them to the instructional learning criteria, success criteria. What is it we want it to look like in the end? So we want them to be able to understand, to answer the why, the how, and what does this show, so they can make a connection and to not only be able to answer the question, but also be able to make a connection and comprehend the story in order to understand what they're writing about. Also, with this, we did hit or miss too, also with the transition words, and have them just, let them know that this is an issue, an area that a gap, that's the correct word, a gap that we want to make close up. So, let's see, I think we've covered it all pretty much. We started out with that, so when you think, woo, it's spring break, I don't want to think about anything. Okay, so we do work tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm really not as familiar with all of the teachers. Who do you think will help me out
With what?
with implementing the franchise? Or just shoot it to each of them and then ask them
Yeah.
in an email?
Just ask them to email. It may be a good idea too, like maybe when we get back, maybe on a PD day where we introduce it, whole group, that way we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
And then maybe,
they'll be more willing because.
yeah, but then also, you'll have support from Leonard so that way they know that it's another, this is something we're doing.
Okay.
It's not an option, this is what we're doing.
Okay, I agree with that idea. Okay, well, ladies, I do appreciate you. Not quite at the time limit, but we did a fairly job. We got the, we pretty much got there. So, I do appreciate this, and this is concluding our observation for focusing on the focusing group. And we are getting ready to adjourn and go home. And I do appreciate you ladies. Thank you.